In the early 70s, I was fortunate to meet three of the Chicago 7 defendants, Abbie Hoffman, Dave Dellinger, and Rennie Davis. These three and their four co-defendants were charged with crossing state lines to incite a riot at the 1968 Democratic Convention. In Sorkin's film, The Trial of Chicago 7, you might get the impression that Abbie Hoffman was a clown and wasn't serious. Well, watch this interview that Chuck Collins did for Underground News, where you'll see that Abbie's passion and intellect fueled the revolution that continues to this day.
I'd like to ask, some of the questions which I think really haven't been asked you too much in the past.
What are we going to put in its place?
No, I hope not.
No.
Never asked.
No.
China.
What kind of family did you come from? Were you from pretty much a middle-class background? Or?
Yeah, upwardly mobile. Yeah. When I came to Chicago in '68, my mother said, "What are you going there for?" And I said, "Well, to wreck the Democratic Party." And she said, "Well, dress warm. It's a windy city." I got a letter during the trial, It said, "I've just written Julie and said maybe the other 7 did all that stuff the papers are saying, but not my son Abbie." I showed it to Rennie. His mother sent him the same letter.
Really?
Yeah.
You should have entered it in court.
They had a little club, Mothers of the Conspiracy. And they used to,
I want to know what you were like as a kid. What
Me?
it was like when you're like 4 years old.
You ran away from home.
I used to just wait around all year for Halloween.
You loved Halloween.
Yeah, I used to look forward to that. In fact, we had, in our neighborhood, we had expanded it to at first 2 days. You celebrated the night before Halloween, then Halloween, then the night after Halloween too, then the whole month of October you cut up until finally I became a revolutionary and you could do it every day of the year. When I was in high school, I had a fight with a teacher after he had insulted a black girl in the class, which is, you use that incident.
Yeah.
It's in Anita's book. And we had a little fight, and I got thrown out of high school, and then I started to hang around pool halls and learn how to shoot pool and everything. And my parents decided that was, the rec pool hall was not exactly the right place for a nice Jewish boy,
By the way, were you bar mitzvahed?
Yeah.
You still have any pens left? We've been running out here.
I got thrown out of the temple too for playing hide and seek, and I hid where they keep all the Torahs. Then I started embarking on my parents' fantasy, which was that I should go to college and become, a part of the intelligentsia and develop a good career. And so it wasn't until later that I, 6 years later when I headed to Mississippi, that I finally discovered what freedom is, which essentially is stopping the enactment of your parents' fantasies.
Mm-hmm. Are you pretty close with your parents still today? Or have your political views sort of gone away?
They came to pay their annual pilgrimage to the Lower East Side to visit us, and they brought a lot of the relatives who hadn't, sort of disowned me. Like I have 2 Uncle Sams, and one is the head of the American Legion post in a small town, and like he just, he sees me right from Peking, but they finally came, and they were looking around our house, and the shotguns didn't upset them too much. The stash of dope,
The little Jesus statue.
Little Jesus statue. The fact that our bedroom's all red, white, and blue with stars, and all these. We have a rogues gallery of photos of me, in like 18 different poses being hauled in, handcuffed. In fact, I was thinking of getting a custom-made pair because they sort of hurt.
I heard something, I don't know whether this is true or not, but that you were a clinical psychologist or something.
We both were. We both have master's degrees in psychology, and we're. In fact, it is a good place to begin to see, a sort of institutional oppressment of the individual or of human beings. I worked in a mental hospital for 2 years, and then I decided to join the patients.
You did a commercial for Steal This Book, and you having trouble getting it played or so?
We did
No
a
station will play it in New York.
we did a radio commercial with all our friends and us, and no station will play.
Well, what did you say in it that they wouldn't? They wouldn't
it's
play?
nothing.
Nothing. It's just the title of the book, Steal This Book. I mean, the New York Times won't take ads for Steal This Book. The ad is nothing but just a picture of the cover of the book.
It says in the back that this book will end free speech.
We had to publish it ourselves because nobody would publish it.
After you graduated from school, I don't know whether this is fact or fiction, but that you just felt lost and you were reading the New York Times constantly.
Yeah.
And sort of the New York Times sort of radicalized you in a way.
Becoming sort of radicalized or involved is really just a process of communication. I think no matter where the communication comes from, I mean the information, like with Vietnam and stuff.
Right. The difference basically between a radical and a liberal is the fact that there's the type of information which they get. Wouldn't you say?
I don't.
The form in which they receive it.
Yeah.
Because I think if you spend your life receiving form through a linear mode, such as the New York Times, what you're going to do is eventually end up in an extreme state of despair, because
great cynicism.
there's a tremendous cynicism. It's a typical academic, intellectual view of the world,
Well,
which is that everything repeats itself, nothing ever changes.
Yeah.
You have even after the revolution, it's the same as before.
Do you know what Steal This Book reminded me of when I first read it? You know, you think this is stupid, but it reminded me of the Boy Scout manual. Because you know, you would always look up whatever you had to know, and it tells you how to grow your own.
Yeah, be prepared. There is a section on Chicago, and some of the people from the Chicago seed help with the research on that section, where to get everything free in Chicago.
We'll get into that tomorrow. Well, we're out of time for tonight, but
Okay,
we'll
see
be
you
back
tomorrow.
Yeah, right, tomorrow.
Right. We'll come back. Okay. We sure had a good time yesterday.
Right.